Lord H, it's Fudge. Sorry I'm not there this week. I was just wondering, does anybody else think that Ray Johnson reminds him of Carlton Palmer?
There's a chance here, a great save. A turner from McClare. Mike Hunt, a terrific goal by Sheridan.
Brexman against Jones. Get in.
You could have two goalkeepers in there that would have trouble saving that.
The Wednesday Week! Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and a very warm welcome to the Wednesday Week on a brand new season as well. We've had a little bit of a shuffle around. All our normal chaps will be joining us eventually, hopefully. But we've got a brand new shiny face for you today, and that's Mr. Paddy Jones, all the way over in New York from the New York Owls. Hello there, Mr. Jones.
Good afternoon, mate. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you, sir. How the devil are you?
Very well, thank you. A little hungover from yesterday's celebrations.
Jolly good, old boy. And of course, our ever-ready Mr. Beastie. Hello there, Beastie.
Hello, it's Championship Beastie.
Championship Beastie on the line. How the devil are you, old boy?
I'm bedded up under the strain. I'm trying to get my football mojo back on track.
Oh, it won't take long, that old boy. Not long at all. All right then, chaps. Lots to discuss. I must apologise that we have been away for so long. We have had issues getting together, we'll put it that way. Edward and Mr. Fudge, I'm sure, shall join us eventually. Maybe not today. We've been having trouble getting hold of Edward, and Mr. Fudge is at work, as always, poor old Mr. Fudge. Keeping the world going round. But not to worry, we shall crack on, and if those chaps do pop along later, then we shall speak to them then.
Lord H, it's Fudge again. I've just found out that you've got the New York Owl on the show tonight. Tell them I'm sat here drinking a brew or a cup of coffee. Not a cup of coffee, as they put it. Whatever, yeah?
So, chaps, first of all, Mr. Jones. A few in, a few out. Mr. Jones seems to have been, what's the word I'm looking for here? Ruthless? I mean, it has to be said that we're a sentimental bunch, us Wednesday chaps, and there's a few favourites disappeared, and a few new chaps come in. So, shall we start with the ins? Let's have a little look first. So, first of all, on my little list here, Anthony Gardner. Let's have a look. We've got about a 2-year contract. Of course, he was once proclaimed the replacement for Sol Campbell over there at Tottenham. It never quite panned out for him. England cap for the under-21s, England cap for Mr. Sven as well. Maybe towards the older end of what I was expecting for a side at 30-year-old. Beastie, what do you think of the chap?
I can only go by what the Spurs fans that I know have said about him. They've always liked him. They've always spoken very highly about him. But going on what I saw last night, I've not seen any other pre-season games with him involving him. But I saw the game last night at Oldham, and it looked a little bit rusty to me. If he's going to be a regular, we need him to catch up to speed very quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't agree more. PJ, I mean, I noticed over the chap, is a great big bloody monster of a bloke, 6'5", is randomly ever so slightly of Carlton Palmer. What do you think there, old boy?
Yeah, I think, like Beastie said, it was a bit out of place yesterday. Hopefully it's just a bit of ring rust.
We all have a little bit of ring rust, don't we?
Alright, do apologise. Charlie Schumer, I'm sorry.
That's the bar set for
Sorry, chaps, do apologise, PJ. How very rude of me. Yes.
Week.
Of course.
We'll put a little mark next to Mr. Gardner as a keep an eye on him, wait and see. Second one in.
We need to work out basically the partnership between him and Liera, who does what and when they go forward, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it does.
That'll a lot of games they play.
Absolutely. It does seem that, especially, I mean, we will get on to the game, that's only the reference we've only got just at the moment, really. The old team, especially that first 50 minutes, it was just so disjointed, so, horrible. Anyway, right, so, second sign in, Chris Kirtland, 31-year-old keeper. Of course, again, in his younger days, bounded as the next big thing. Movement from Coventry to Liverpool, £6 million Liverpool pay for him. Somewhat injury prone. PJ, what do you think of his performance on Saturday evening? He looked quite sharp to me.
Yeah, I think Kirkland's a quality signing. He's got a bit of experience behind him. Nice, cool head. And you saw last night that he made some cracking saves. I'm ashamed not to see more Bywater. I like Bywater. And I like Weaver as well. I think we've got a good, strong keepers line up at the moment. And I'm not sure what's happening with Weaver, whether he's going Doncaster or not. But even so, with those three keepers and Kirkland as number one, I think we're pretty strong there.
Yeah, Beastie, do you agree?
I agree with everything that Patrick's just said, to be honest. I know everybody's a bit dubious about the injury issues with Kirkland, but I am absolutely positive that Dave Jones wouldn't have signed him if he wasn't 100% on him. And they will have gone to town on him in that physical. The medical will have left nothing unturned. And I'm hopeful that he's going to have a cracking season. But like Patrick says, I'm a big fan of Bywater. I'm pleased that we've kept him on. I'm also a big fan of Nicky Weaver, but I don't know. Something's got to give, surely, somewhere.
Weaver hasn't got a squad number this year, has he?
No, he hasn't, and I think he'll probably end up either going out on loan somewhere, which I don't think he'll be too happy about, or he'll be moved on. Obviously, Jameson's quite highly regarded, and I would imagine that he'll be out on loan somewhere.
Yes, I mean, there was a few little rumours bound around about Weaver doing his coaching badges and looking at that sort of side of thing as well. And he has had the back trouble, and I do believe there was a little spot of dental trouble that he had as well. And of course, regarding the goalkeepers there, chaps, Mr. O'Donnell, he's left us. I must say, rather sad to see myself. I like Richard O'Donnell. He seems like a decent young keeper. Obviously, Chris Kirkland's come in 31, again towards the older ends of what I was expecting. So we've got Bywater and Kirkland, two older chaps, and of course Jameson, the young up and comer. Again, what do you think about O'Donnell going, chaps? Would you rather have seen O'Donnell or Jameson there?
Well, to be honest with you, we've not seen enough of Jameson. When the couple of games that he played are. I'm thinking about the game at Milton Keynes, I think it was. It was absolutely outstanding. And I think he picked up an injury shortly after that, so we didn't see much more of him. Whereas O'Donnell were in, he made plenty of appearances. And to me, unfortunately, I think he is just short of what we want. And it's hard to say because I do like the lad and he loves Sheffield Wednesday. Hopefully he can go away, learn his skill and come back when he's bigger, older and better.
Yeah, absolutely. Shall we put a line with that again for the keepers just at the moment? And on to the next new signing, Mr. Chris Maguire, Scottish chap. 11 caps for the under-21 Scottish team, 1 cap so far for the full Scottish team. Seemed to have a little bit of trouble at Derby. I don't know if it was Derby glad to get rid of him or him to be glad to be shut of Derby. I mean, on paper, it looks like a quality signing, but it didn't look terribly sharp. Again, I'm not judging this early on in the season, chaps. We've got a long way to go yet, but again, the game Saturday, sorry, I do apologise, the cup game against Oldham, looked a little bit rusty again. PJ, what do you think, old boy?
Yeah, I'm a bit concerned about Maguire. Everyone seems to be got his high hopes for him. If he didn't get into the side at Derby for a full season, it kind of questions his kind of commitment or attitude, maybe. I'm just a little concerned he might be a bit rusty too. He might need some more practice, some more games under his belt to get playing. But it's international, so hopefully he can get going pretty quickly.
Yeah, let's hope so. Dave Jones offered him a 3-year contract, Beastie. Do we think he's looking at him long term, or are we expecting him to come good straight away?
You can't expect him to come good straight away. And something we've got to bear in mind with all these players, we've had a lot of new faces in. It's going to take quite a while for them all to gel together. And we saw a lot of that last night. You see individual moments of brilliance, but you don't see a lot of teamwork. As a game, I don't want to preempt the game from last night, but as it wore on, you saw that teamwork coming together, and that's going to be the same for Maguire. He's going to need to be in that team. He's going to need to know how he can rely on the wingers delivering the ball. He's going to need to work on his teamwork with Medina, if that's going to be the partnership. And all this sort of stuff takes time. But one thing we have to bear in mind, not just with Maguire, it's with all the signings, is that Dave Jones did a fantastic job for us last season, at the back end of last season. He delivered on every front that we asked. Now, what we've got to do is we've got to place all of our trust in him and rely on him that he's brought the right players in, and he will get the best out of them. And although I was underwhelmed with the initial signing of Maguire, Dave Jones has got my 100% support, and if he thinks he's good enough, that's good enough for me.
Fair dues, old boy, fair dues. So again, like I say, 3-year contract. I'll keep an eye on the chap. Again, on paper, it looks absolutely fantastic. 110 starts, 33 goals. We shall see. We shall see.
Lord H, it's Fudge again. Did anybody else think that Pechnich, or Pecknick, or Pac-Man, and Chris Maguire, does anybody else think they look a bit chubby for footballers? Sorry, Beast, no offence. Start.
Right then, on to the next one. Mr. Joe Matlock, another 3-year contract. Again, another young lad, 22-year-old left back. Did have a little spell down there for the Blunts on loan. Again, looking at his international history, a cap for the under-17s, 13 caps for the 19s, 5 caps for the 21s. I know it's very difficult to stay in the England setup from that sort of an age. You don't see many chaps go all the way through to the actual first team. Again, Beastie, prospect, do you think?
Well, he's got to be a prospect, hasn't he? A young lad. And I must admit, I'm really liking this this idea that Dave Jones is signing these young players, and we're committing to the future at club. I find that overall more exciting than individual names, because we are genuinely building for the future now. And overall, I'm very pleased with this signing. I really am, and hopefully he's going to be a fixture in that first team for quite a while. And I like the fact that we take players who have played 1 or 2 games for the Blades, and we make them better. Danny Bat, JP McGovern, Tracy, we do it to them all, and we leave them with the crap.
Beautiful. Very well put, old boy, if you know what I'm saying. As eloquent as ever. Fantastic. Again, I mean, I don't know a terrible large amount about this young lad. PJ, do you know anything else about him, or is it just a case of keeping an eye on him?
All I know is he's a left back, and on Reddit's showing last night, I think a left back's very much needed.
It was a worrying little sight. Again, I'm not going to judge yet. We all love Reader. I'm going to reserve judgment. I'm going to
The worst thing you can do. Sorry, the worst thing you can do is prejudge Raider, because everybody writes him off. He has a couple of howlers, and everybody thinks, "My God, we've got to get shut of him, get somebody in quick," and then he turns it on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Does it all the time.
Right, so again to the next prospect, another young lad, Kieran Lee, another 3-year contract, 24 years old, came through the Manchester United Academy. After that went to Oldham. He seems to have had a couple of good years there. Sort of plays anywhere in the back 4, usually in the middle, and then up to centre midfield as well. Looks like a pretty dynamic player. Decent pedigree on paper, another prospect again. Does any of you chaps know a great deal about this? Again, it's another one of these young lads I'm not exactly up to speed on. Anybody know anything else about the chap?
I think he won the player of the season last season, didn't he, for Oldham?
Oh.
The Oldham fans regarded him pretty highly. I might be lying, I'm sure I read that somewhere.
I think there was a little. I think we even could have possibly mentioned it on the podcast last year. There has been rumours bounding about this chap, even when right at the back end of last season. Beastie, any other information on the boy?
I have absolutely no information on him at all, and I probably watched him play in the Oldham games last season. You know what my memory's like. I can't remember getting up this morning. I have no idea how I got here. All my information about any of our players that we sign comes from my daughter. She tells me everything I need to know.
Oh,
Right.
he didn't headset really well, boy.
Get her on instead.
Right, then on we pop. Our latest, what's the best way to put this? Portuguese signing. The Armando, or Jedward Head, as he seems to have been nicknamed in my house. Cracking hairdo on the boy. Again, he's had international pedigree at the under 16s, 17s, 19s, 20s, and 21 levels. Another young lad, 22-year-old, 2-year contract. Again, I'm afraid, chaps, I've only seen the pictures. Sent to show well out in Portugal. What do we think, boys? Smido speaks highly of him. He's played with him before. Another interesting one to me.
He's got a 1950s haircut, a 1950s haircut, a 1950s haircut. He's got a 1950s haircut. I like his 1950s haircut.
Does it remind you of your youth, old boy?
Ah!
We don't fast forward them, Beastie. Like Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Yeah, love it. Absolutely love it. Yes, so again, we want to keep an eye on. Again, let's play for Sporting Portugal and another team that I can't pronounce. But yes, I mean, again, a grower, I think, chaps, a grower. Anybody else anything other to pass on about the chap?
No, but when you read what people are saying about him, it does sound very promising, doesn't it? And he's one of those players that I'm really looking forward to seeing get amongst it all, and let's see what he can do. It's like Petnik. I wanted to see what he could do as well. These are the sort of players that you hope when you go to watch football, they're the players that are going to really excite you.
Ding dong, yes, all boy, absolutely. Speaking of Petnik, interesting chap. Again, on paper, looks quality. Again, an exciting player. It is something we've sort of been short of. Someone that's going to. I mean, obviously we've had the chaps running down the wings here, there, and everywhere, but. He has got the potential for that little bit of flair by the looks of him. A bit of a fiery shooting boot, I think, judging by what I saw the other night. What do you think, PJ over there? Another one waiting to jail, do you think?
I think one thing that I like about transfers so far is that he's bringing some footballers, which coming from the last few years in like League One and stuff like that, it's nice to have someone that can pass the ball around. And Petchnik had a bit of a mare in the first 40 minutes yesterday, first 45 minutes. But he showed some good touches, and he looks like he's got a good shot on him, good range, and he's got some nice little moves. So hopefully we'll see a bit more of him this season. Some nice little fancy goals here and there, hopefully.
Let's hope so. I mean, obviously the chap's not scared of having a crack here and there. Beastie, he did get booked for a little bit of petulance. What do you think? Another fiery one?
Yeah, I saw him in the game against Sporting. I watched it online, and he had some nice touches in there as well. Some of his vision were lovely to watch, and the same in the Oldham game. I don't know if you were watching it last night. Everybody must have been in raptures about his little touches and his back heels and what have you. And it's nice to see. And he is looking to get forward, to pass the ball, and he does look like he's got a really good shot on him. Unfortunately, not from the penalty spot. Now, what surprised me was he took that penalty with his right foot, and he never looked convincing at all. Yeah, in the second half, there were a few instances where he tried desperately to get the ball on his left foot.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he took a couple of shots with his left foot. So if he's more comfortable with his left foot, I don't understand why he would take such a rubbish penalty with his right.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. My hopes be flair players along the lines of Chrissy Waddle. A couple of those little flicks, a little bit of cheek about him. But again, we shall see, chaps. We shall see.
Lord H, it's Fudge again. I've just had a call from Petter Rudy. It was a message for Petchnik saying, can he have his shooting prowess back? I don't know what he meant by that.
And one last one, Rhys McCabe from Rangers. Again, under 21s. He's got a cap for the under 21 Scottish team. Another young lad, 20 years old, attacking midfielder. We seem to be having some trouble getting hold of him, though. He has been offered a 3-year contract, but I don't think he's actually signed it fully yet. Rangers putting up a bit of a fight if we owe him money, or if he's been released, or what. I don't know if you chaps are any more clued up than I am about that.
I thought it were Club 12 that were putting up a fight about it.
Oh.
There's no such team as Rangers now, is there?
Well, that's it, yes, that's right. I stand corrected, Beastie, and I bow to your knowledge. But no, there does seem to be somewhat of an upsy-downy about it all. I don't think anything's actually confirmed yet. But it looks like a prospect again, 20 years old. Offered him a 3-year contract, somebody to watch.
Yeah, the Rangers fans are really singing his praises. And a lot of... I think there were a couple of other teams in for him as well, weren't there? A couple of big clubs that wanted him, so he must have something about him.
Yeah, PJ, another Scottish chap coming down for us. Happy with the prospects, happy with the age group that we're getting down here.
Yeah, definitely. It's always good to have some youngsters in the squad as well, but again, my concerns are if we played in the SPL, it's not the best quality football in the week. When you think I could walk into the Rangers side of the night, I've got a knackered knee.
It is a very, very poor standard, the SPL. I've seen it up close and personal, and it is not nice to watch.
I've said it before and I'll say it again, there's nothing greater, and don't get me wrong, for all our SPL fans out there, not that they'll be listening to this anyway, when you see a Scottish player score a goal, run off and rip his shirt off, and you think, my word boy, put your shirt back on. Good Lord, no need for all that, muffin top. Anyway, chaps, so ever so quickly, we'll whiz through the chaps offered new contracts as well. Bywater.
You've got one more...
Oh, I've missed sorry, chap. Oh, of course.
You've only got the biggest one of the lot, really.
I do apologise.
How did you miss him?
It was never in doubt, so I've not even got him on my list.
You missed him, totally. Which, to me, signifies that you, Lord H, hate Antonio.
Oh, my Lord, no. Absolutely not.
It sounds to me like you're trying to run him out of the club.
To me, it was a done deal from the start. The chap never took his Wednesday shirt off. I don't know if you boys noticed over there on Twitter, the Wednesday picture stayed. He had his Wednesday shirt on all the time on the Twitter picture. I mean, it's the icing on the cake. It does really look like the only one we've spent a decent amount of money on, chaps. I mean, I know we're not exactly flush as a club, but we have had our financial worries swept aside, so to speak, for the moment. And I was expecting one big humping player. I mean, the transfer season's not over yet. I'm very glad we've spent on Antonio. Of course I am. Absolute spot on. But Beastie, we all know that we're happy to have him here. We have all seen what he can do. He's got a new slicker hairdo this year. It seems to make him run even faster. More aerodynamic. All he needs now is a bloody good song.
Well, my daughter reckons that he's got a hell of a throw on him, hasn't he?
Oh, God, yes.
It's a thing of beauty is that throw in that he takes. And my daughter calls it the A-bomb. Because when he gets that throw in just at the edge of the box, just in line with the box, anywhere in that area, the A-bomb goes in and we usually make something out of it, don't we?
Oh, exactly. It's just the first bit of attributes. I mean, PJ, the speed of the chap, unbelievable.
Well, for his goal, was it your goal yesterday where he...
Yeah.
No, it was before his goal, he was about 10 yards behind this full-back. And we were watching him, we were up behind him, we were going to have him here,
He's behind you!
Yeah, he got in front of me, then mustered him out of the way, like, Christ almighty, this guy is unbelievable. He's like a Hulk on, like, steroids, just like those drums. He's the Owl Hulk.
Oh, hey, there will be trouble there, or by the chairs smashing in the background as we speak. Sorry, Owl Hulk, please don't smash anything over, boy. Yeah, so that's it, he's got the throw, he's got the speed, and again, we saw the finish, chaps. He scored important goals for us before, and fantastic. What can we say? Signing, definitely the top signing so far, but the transfer isn't over yet. There is rumours that DJ's looking at a few extra strikers. There's a few big names being bandied about as well. But like I say, chaps, it's just that one big money signing. That's what I was expecting. I don't know if you chaps are expecting the same.
Yeah, I think we're going to get at least one of Dave Jones' old boys, if you like. he has a certain bunch of players that he likes, and I'm sure we will see one of those at Sheffield Wednesday before too long. The latest rumour is Jay Bothroyd, isn't it?
Yeah, it's, again, like I say, Beastie, Dave Jones' favourite. What do you think, watch this space or done deal?
Well, I'm not going to say on the Wednesday week that it's a done deal, but I think it's a done deal.
You really are forgetful old boy, aren't you? Right then, so, chaps, as I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted by the old fella, sorry Beastie, chaps offered a new contract, Bywater, another year. Happy about that one, definitely.
Very.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. Again, absolute spot on. As we saw what he could do last season. Keeps everything in check. Again, 31 years old. We all know that keepers can crack on for much longer than your regular type players. Again, fine, fantastic. Happy with that one. Beavers, 2-year contract. Beastie, I know you're a Beavers fan.
I love the Beaver.
Yeah, absolutely. PJ, he's only 22 years old. He seems to be around the club for bloody years. 6'4", he's still growing. My word. Again, back to the sentimental Wednesday fans. I'm glad to see him stay for that reason. He's had his little wobbles. He was part of that magical back four way back when. PJ, happy to have him.
Yeah, definitely. I think Beavers has really impressed me last season when he came in. He was a period of time I thought he wasn't going to make the cut, but he's really bottled down. He's looking like the partner. I think he'll provide some good cover for Oliera and Gardner.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's looking like a very a lofty back four back there as well. Beastie, height, is that what we're after?
Well, it is, yeah. Last season our set pieces were massive for us, and they are going to be this season, obviously. Last night, Lehrer and Gardner were in there making a nuisance of themselves at every opportunity. But I'd like to have seen Beavers get a run out last night with one of the older blokes, because I'm still convinced that he is part of the future of this club. Like you say, he's still a young lad, and it's only 2-3 years ago that everybody was naming him as their player of the season. It was the Owls Alive player of the season. It was the Owls Online player of the season. I'm sure he was the club's young player. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
You don't lose that skill and that class overnight. And like Patrick said, he's buckled down and he's got his head into his game again, and he started working himself back into first team consideration. And I'd like to see him figure strongly this season.
Absolutely. Could not agree more than this. Could not agree more. That's my sentimental side coming through. I do hope the Jap turns out good. Another year for JJ. Oh, JJ. How we love you, how we hate you, how we love you all over again. What are we going to do about him, PJ? Another year. 179 appearances he's had for us now. 22 goals, 5 years with the club. One last stint, do you think?
Yeah, one more year to make it. Hopefully he does.
How many years have we been saying that? I think even now we're only about 15 when we first said that. I'll tell you what JJ is like. I got the game regular with Tom, a mate of mine, and JJ infuriates the hell out of him. And it's only last season that he drew him to distraction, so much so that he wanted him out of the club. He was so desperate to see him out of the club because this is how infuriating JJ can get you. You know, it was at Morecambe when he got in trouble with the referee, and he sulked all through the game, and he was just dreadful. And Tomo wanted him out. And last night, when he turned it on, it was fantastic. And Tomo had changed around again. That's what he does to every single Wednesday fan.
Absolutely.
Pretty much on a regular weekly basis, don't he? 1 week, you want him out of the club. The next week, there's nobody better.
Good, not agree.
There was a great moment last night where Maguire broke free. I think it was like 2-on-1 with the defender. And he chose to shoot, and it was Maguire's shot that went just past the post. And we were screaming, square it! Everyone in the pub was going, square it! And it cut to who he was going to square it to. It was JJ. He went, no, keep it!
Oh, I love it. Oh, bless him. Oh, JJ. Yes, I'm sure the saga of JJ will continue at least for another year, chaps. Watch this space. And the last chap that I've got on here, unless I'm absolutely wrong and I've missed somebody else again, the young Australian chap, Jared Kyle. Given Young Player of the Season last season. Personally, I've not seen him play. I don't know much about the chap. I've looked for information, can't find a great deal. He definitely looks like one for the ladies. Good-looking young boy. Just given another year to impress. Professional papers. Are we happy with this one, PJ? Do you know anything about the chap at all?
I'm a big fan of his TV show at ITV in the morning. Just to get the champion and start talking to him. Yeah, I'm loving his work.
I wouldn't know what you mean. Full of commoners. Absolute filth. Beastie, any the wiser at all?
No, not really. Just the club seem very impressed with him at the end of last season, didn't they? And again, it comes down to Dave Jones being no mug, especially with the younger players. He can get the best out of the younger players and bring them through. He's done it at all the clubs. And again, we have to trust him. If he thought he was rubbish, then there's no way he would be getting a contract of any kind.
No, that's right. Although Fudge isn't here, I was speaking to the chap just ever so slightly before we started on the phone, and he made the point, DJ's made the point himself as well. He doesn't seem to be a sentimental chap at all. There's no hangers-on. I mean, we'll discuss who's left us in a moment. No hangers-on, no room for anything at all. Fish you cut bait, basically, chaps. Fish you cut bait. Right, so, odds on loan, Liam Palmer. Chap I really do like. I like the look of him. Again, a young lad, could do a bit of experience, which, is popped out of Tranmere until January. I think that'll be good for him, Beastie.
Well, I don't want to upset you, Lord H, but I do like the lad, but I have a strange feeling that Dave Jones might think he's not quite up to scratch, and I have a funny feeling that he may not play in a Wednesday shirt again. But this is just my feeling. I have no information. It's not based on fact. It's just my opinion. I think Liam won't play for Sheffield Wednesday.
I'll ask you next week. I forgot that.
It asked me in 20 minutes. I'll have forgot it.
Have you seen much of the chap over there? I know it's a bit more difficult to get the games and one over there, PJ. We'll come on to that a bit later. But do you know? Have you seen him? Have you heard much about the chap?
Yeah, I've seen him play a few times. I was listening to him on the commentary. I just don't think he's going to be good enough for the Championship, I'm afraid. Obviously, he's still young. He's still learning his trade, but I just didn't see anything in him that made me think he's one for the future.
Well, again, chaps, it's another case to watch this space. Of course, Mr. Coke has just returned to us. He's been out on loan here, there and everywhere. And I must admit, this is going to be hard. I hate to say this. I don't like being wrong. He seems to have come back a better player, chaps. I wasn't a fan at all. Mainly because he blocked me on Twitter for some interesting remarks I made about him. No, I must say, like I say, I've never been a great fan. He was supposed to be a fantastic prospect. He arrived, I think it was 4 in 4 that he popped in, something along those sort of lines. And then after that, I've not been impressed at all. Don't like the chap. Came back. Dave Jones, when he put him on against Oldham, I thought, oh God, what on earth are you doing, DJ? And proved wrong. He played fantastically well.
Well, it's a mixed bag, is Giles Cole.
And I've called him a lot worse than a mixed bag.
he has got talent, but he's very, very moody, both on and off the pitch, obviously. It doesn't take a lot to wind him up. Again, either on the pitch or off the pitch. He's not covered himself in glory on Twitter. He didn't cover himself in glory a couple of times at Bury either, arguing with the Bury players.
With the Bury captain.
Yeah, well, you know, the club captain and regular penalty taker. Coach thought that he should take the penalties.
On his first game.
On his very first game. That's going to endear you to the other players, isn't it? So, he does do things wrong. And I don't think we've seen the best of him. But last night, against Oldham, he helped change the game when he came on. And he got his head down, and his work rate was very good. His skill rate was very good, and he contributed great to the game. But let's not go overboard here. It was only 45 minutes. We need to see more of that from Giles Cope before we can start saying, let's have a future at this club for Giles Cope, because he's definitely got it there. It's just whether he wants to work hard at it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's Fudge again. I've just had a call from Giles Coke. He says that his forehead is bigger than Emma Bunton from the Spice Girls. Who'd have thought it?
Right then, so chaps, that seems to be everything I've got about the chaps that are already still with us. Anybody know anything else about anybody in or out on loan? I think I've cracked on everybody. Anyway, we'll crack on to the outs. Released, the first 6 players to go. John Osborne. It's always been a funny one for me. Again, a decent looking prospect. I'm sorry, Beastie, I have to say, Mr. Morrison. We all know how the offer with Clinton. We've all heard the love story. We've watched it from afar.
I still love Clinton. I miss him already.
Oh, you'll soon forget about him. Sean Clough, a young 19-year-old keeper. I'm terribly sorry, I don't know anything about him. Academy chap, been on loan out at Cambridge and on loan out at Worksop. PJ, anything about him at all?
You know what, Sean Clough is one of the best keepers I've never seen. He's going to be a star. You wait. You'll be saying, Sean Clough, we should get hold of him, like Cantona.
Oh, don't start that one. So, like I was saying, Osborne, he has gone to K Dons now. He was released by us, so he's gone to K Dons again. Morrison released Colchester. Sean Clough, as of time of recording, I don't believe he's got a club yet. Again, like we said earlier, Richard O'Donnell off to Chesterfield. That for me is about Chesterfield. And of course, we all know who's at Chesterfield to keep an eye on him there. Former Wednesday keeper. I think that'll do good there. I really do think that'll do good, and he's under very, 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 very good wings there as well. Sorry.
I mean, apart from Chris Turner.
Don't you dare. Now, there's not very many Wednesday players that I'm super protective of, but Chris Turner was my boyhood hero. I want to hear a bad word said. Never, ever again. Yeah. Right, Chris Sedgwick, of course, 32-year-old. This is where we do see a bit of the rough Dave Jones. Of course, he has been about a bit. Chris Sedgwick again. He played for Oldham for a long time. Preston, that was the bulk. At his time at Wednesday, he's 32-year-old. And just see DJ's got rid of him. PJ, the older players that we seem to be getting rid of, is it worth being sentimental about, or is it just a case of we're not going to cut it in the Championship, time to move them on?
Yeah, not going to miss Cedric one bit. He wasn't even a League One player, I don't think.
Beastie?
I didn't like him.
Agree?
Well, no, I think that's harsh. I like Chris Sedgwick. One thing you did get from Chris Sedgwick was 100% work rate. He never stopped working. And you can't say that about every player that we've had over the last couple of seasons. He's a Sheffield Wednesday fan, always has been from childhood, and he loved playing at this club. And I don't have a problem with him going. It was time for him to go, and he's certainly not up to this standard. But I'm grateful for everything he's done at this club. I've enjoyed watching him.
Fair play, Beastie. So, a bit of a nodding away to Chris Sedgwick. Thanks ever so much, old boy. Literally. Rob Jones, captain extraordinaire. Big chap. I thought he played extraordinarily well last season. But again, up to the next level, 32-year-old. Former school teacher, of course. Very interesting story there. Got off to Doncaster. Beastie, what do you think?
It's a good move for both parties, isn't it? He's definitely up to League One standard. I think he would have struggled at the Championship level. Anytime anybody ran at him with a bit of pace, he was always found lacking. The only time he came into his own, really, was anybody that wanted to play direct football. He loved that. Yeah. They never got past him. I enjoyed watching him. He did well for us last season. A good captain, a good ambassador for the club. Thank you, Rob Jones, and good luck, Doncaster.
I think he might need it, judging by the first couple of appearances. PJ, I don't know if you've seen what has been up to at Doncaster since he's left us.
No, I haven't. We don't get Doncaster over here.
2 own goals, and looks like he's injured. All the best, Rob. Like I say, a big Rob Jones fan, and we do wish him all the best on his way. Right then, another old chap. This one doesn't surprise me at all that he has gone, but I'm sad to see him go. Mr. Ryan Lowe, on his way. Beastie, good move for both parties again, do you think?
Yeah, definitely. I'm a massive Ryan Lowe fan. When we played Bury at their place, and they gave us a footballing lesson, really, he was the star of the show, without a doubt. And I said, straight after that game, walking back to the car, we could do worse than putting a cheeky bid to buy Ryan Lowe. And lo and behold, a couple of weeks later we did. I couldn't believe it. Megson must have been following me. But it's been fantastic for us. He's had a lot of empathy with the fans. The fans have really loved having him at the club. And is there anything better than hearing the Wednesday fans in full voice singing the Ryan Lowe song? It's absolutely fantastic. It lifts the roof off, and he loved it. He loved being part of all that. It's a great move for him to MK Dons. I would have really liked to have seen him get his chance at championship level. Maybe played a couple of games, because I know that was his ambition to play at this level. But if we're honest, it is a good move, and he isn't up to this standard, but it would have been nice for his CV just to say, played championship football. But again, I've loved seeing Ryan Lowe in a Sheffield Wednesday shirt. Thanks, Ryan, and good luck.
PJ, sad to see him go, or again, is it a sentimental move to want to keep him, do you think?
No, see, I want to mind keeping him for a few months in the championship. I think he deserves that. He played brilliantly for us last season. He's got some crucial goals. I think he'd be a great impact player off the bench as well for us in the championship. So yeah, I'm a bit sentimental about losing Ryan Lowe. He was a good player, but the best thing about him leaving is we won't hear your horrible song again, Lord.
Yeah, no. I'll have you know that Ryan Lowe himself enjoyed that song and tweeted me to tell me so. Right then, the only other one that I've got on my sheet here that so far is the Vandel Oliver, another young chap. I've heard his name about the club. Just been released. Beastie, any the wiser about the chap?
I know absolutely nothing about him.
Right, fair dues. PJ?
I know that times 1,000.
Well, like I say, it's always one of those names that seems to pop up on FIFA and when you're playing FIFA and things like that. He does seem to be in around the place a lot. But best luck to the young chap. I do hope he gets his chance and has a crack. And best luck, old boy. Again, that's it from me. Anybody else know anything else that I've missed?
Nope, I can't think of anybody.
Oh, of course not. Well, I say I've done my research. Jeeves has done my research for me. Well, there is, of course, one or two of the coaching staff that's gone. Academy boss Sean McCauley, off to your side of the pond there, PJ, off to the Portland Timbers in the MLS. Personally, I think he's done a top job with the academy. Beastie, what do you think?
Well, I mean, he has. Everybody speaks highly of him. And he were with the club through a very dodgy period where he actually took the reins for a while. But we don't seem to have had that many come through, do we, from the academy?
Not just recently. I have to agree with you. He does seem to have kept the thing all ticking over. PJ, do you think will he do well over there in the MLS? Of course, you see more of that kind of thing than we do. What do you think? A Championship or a League One side academy manager? Do you think he'll be able to cut it over there with the big boys?
Big boys. Actually, I think you'll love it over here because the Timbers have got a really good fan base, really passionate, really up for it, and not very good at the moment. So I think you'll enjoy it over here. I think he's been over here before, hasn't he, as well?
Yeah, well, twice.
With the link was.
Been flitting about here, there, and everywhere. So
it's used to being at clubs when they're not very good, then, isn't it? Really? So
yeah.
they've obviously headhunted him.
And Terry Burton, this is one's quite a big one in my opinion, lad. Of course, number 2 over here. He's gone to replace Pat Rice at Arsenal to be Mr. Wenger's assistant. He looks like he was always earmarked for the job, but to me, that's a fair old move for the chap. Can we blame him?
That's got to be massive, hasn't it? That when you think that we actually had him, that Arsenal desperately wanted him, that shows you the regard that he's held him, because Pat Rice down at Arsenal, that you know, he was a legend to them. After his playing days, you saw the reaction when he retired at the end of last season. They absolutely love him at that club. But Teddy Burton's got big boots to fill down there now. But
absolutely,
I'm sure he'll do a great job.
Yeah, do you think, PJ, do you think we'll miss his influence? I mean, obviously, like Beastie said, he's wanted at Arsenal, so it must make some kind of difference.
Yeah, I think I wish him all the best. He's obviously served us very well, and that's a massive job. Talk about promotion, Christ almighty.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a fair old jump for the chap, but don't worry, we'll still be looking down on him, and he'll wish he'd stay with us. But no, thanks ever so much, Mr. Burton. Top job. So, chaps, that's all my transfer news I've got. I'm terribly sorry it took me so long to get through it all. Have I missed anything at all?
I can't think about.
Well, of course you can't. You forgot. Bye. So we'll call that for the. If anybody else out there has got any kind of news for us, please do get in touch. We'll give you those normal ways that you can do that at the end of the show. And just for the moment, we'll get on with the game.
The ball into the middle lane for Hurst. Head! Absolutely brilliant. And David Hurst maintains his impressive scoring form here at Hillsborough.
So then, chaps, Oldham, the brand spanking new name for what we all know and love as the League Cup, or that shall be forever in our hearts the Rumbelows Cup, and shall never change, even though Rumbelows, the actual business itself, died a long, long time ago. I mean, boys,
Well, I've still got one of their tellies.
Have you really? Does it wind up at the back, old boy?
Does that mean they're not going to want it back?
Are you still paying rent on it?
I put pennies in back.
Has anybody been around to collect those pennies recently?
No, it is getting a bit full.
Yes, so of course, in our hearts it'll always be the Rumbelows, whoever that lady was that presented Nigel with the cup. But chaps, was anybody else terrified after seeing that first 50 minutes?
Yeah, it was like normal service has been resumed. It was like all the elation from the last season was just like taken out in 20 minutes. Like, oh my God, we're back to normal.
It was appalling, absolutely appalling. I've so been looking forward to that match. Brand new season, absolutely riding the wave. And I mean, even the first 10 minutes, I think we all touched the ball 3 times. Beastie, you were there?
I was there, yeah.
You were there. I was following your tweets, of course. And I can only imagine the atmosphere. I mean, all the Wednesday fans, I should imagine. I mean, you tell me, what was it like going to the ground with the Wednesday chaps?
I mean, I was a little bit underwhelmed at going to this game because it felt like a pre-season game to me. Everything about it, getting ready, going to the game, there was no urgency about it. It didn't feel like the start of the season. So it was just sort of a trudge along to a pre-season friendly. And walking to the ground, it felt exactly the same. There were no buzz about anybody walking to the ground. The Oldham fans, all the Wednesday fans. There were no excitement, no really good vibe from anybody. And when we got inside, it continued in there as well. And from both sets of fans, there were no lift. Now, don't get me wrong, the Oldham fans did lift it a little bit because their team were playing by far the better football. I was quite impressed with Oldham, if I'm honest. As much as I was unimpressed with us, I was impressed with Oldham. They had a good work rate, high tempo, and they looked a pretty decent team. And they were well worth that, 2-0 lead. And had we scored to make it 2-1, it would have been a bit of a travesty, really.
Absolutely. I mean, first blow, of course, the young Blades fan there. What was his name? Swill or something along those sort of lines. I mean, fair enough to the chap. Exposed a little bit. It's the first time I've really seen the chaps play this new back four, and to me, I mean, like I say, great big two chaps there, central defence. Reader wasn't on form. Buxton, I was incredibly surprised with Buxton. He didn't look on form whatsoever. Really shocked me. He didn't play well throughout the whole game, to me. A few little sparks of the old chap, but nothing particular. But to me, we looked lacking in pace at the back, and it got exposed by Mr. Swill.
Well, the thing you've got to remember about Lewis Buxton is he's just had an operation as well, hasn't he? So he's going to miss a little bit of training. I'm absolutely confident that left back and right back will be sorted and they will be fine. Whether it's Raider and Lewis or anybody, it will be sorted. But the good thing about it all is that lift-off for the season was achieved in that second half, wasn't it?
Absolutely. Again, PJ, just before we get on to that Beastie, I don't want to dwell on the dross, if you like, but were you worried, PJ? Did you think, again, like you say, back to the old Wednesday, again, it was awful. People were screaming on Twitter about Mr. Petnick. He said just start off terribly. Do you think wrong position? I mean, once he got moved about again, he did start to show that little bit of flair we were looking for. But do you think it was really just a case of we were sat in the wrong place?
Yeah, I think it was an unfair start for him. I think we were playing him slightly out of position. I think he prefers to play either in that support role or on the wing. And he was kind of filling lines as Boots, which is always really hard Boots to fill because he does a lot of running lines, a lot of workman-like performances from him. Whereas Pechnik's a bit more of a flair player, isn't he? I just think he was in the wrong place. But it was, I mean, we had to take some time off work yesterday afternoon to watch that game. And within the first 15 minutes, we looked around each other and thought, Christ, I'm going back to work. It's terrible.
Beastie, I mean, again, the Wednesday fans around and about, was it moans, groans? I do believe I even heard the Wednesday fans booing at one point. It didn't take as long.
No, it took us around about 42, 43 minutes, and the fans were booing. People are entitled to their opinion.
Of course.
I know they are, but
of course.
To me, I don't see what good it does.
Lord Ace, it's Fudge. We're Wednesday, aren't we?
We've got a new side. The players are still getting used to each other. It wasn't pretty to watch that first half. There's no two ways around it. It wasn't pretty to watch, and at times it was scary. The scariest bit for me, you've highlighted the two fullbacks, but for me, the two centre-halves were just as scary. For two big lads, they let some very small players run rings around them, and they didn't command that area. And that's what we're looking to the likes of Gardner and Lehrer to do, surely.
Yeah, it does seem that way. But let's leave it behind us, chaps, because, of course, Mr. Jones got them in half-time. Lord only knows what was said in there, whether it was threats of violence, whips and chains, or he might have sat them down and made them see their Wednesday hearts. But they came out a different team. The first 5 minutes again, ever so slightly dodgy. I'm sure you chaps saw it as well, the Blades on Twitter, giving it this and giving it that. But then it just came across. First goal, what do you think, Beastie? They were saying it was a goalkeeping error that let us back in the game. Of course, who should pop up? Who else? JJ Bank. What do you think of there, old Beastie?
I thought it was a cracking bit of skill by JJ. He took it first time, didn't he? I mean, it landed perfectly for him, and he just leathered it. I'm sure he wanted it with his left foot.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he just caught it a peach. And you know with JJ, you know exactly what he's like, right? We were stood near the right-hand corner flag. Now, we all expected that ball to hit us. And you've got two options with JJ, either bust a net or it is. And this time, fortunately enough, it went in. And fair play to the lad. He didn't do too bad at all yesterday, and that was a great boost to him because he is a confidence player, and that lifted him. You could see that it lifted him.
Absolutely.
Lil H, it's Fudge again. All right, lads. I've just had a text message from Gary Medine. Says he's been arrested, but he was keeping his nose clean. I don't know what he meant by that.
And of course, we had the worrying bits and bobs again. A little note from Mr. Fudge. Eugene went off injured. Again, I think he has had trouble with a bruised foot. Is that right, Beastie? A bit of a bruised foot through pre-season.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. And he did mention that on Twitter when a lot of fans were saying, "I've heard that you're being transferred. I've heard that so and so has put a bid in for you." He did tweet in no uncertain terms, "I've had a bruised foot. I've been injured. I'm going nowhere."
Yeah.
I think he took a little bit of a knock last night just before he went off. So if he took that on the same place that he's had his injury, then that won't have done him any good, and it was a right move to take him off.
Absolutely. PJ, again, my little chat with Fudge that I had earlier, again, going back to that tweet, Beastie, Medine said about how he'd been kept his nose clean, he'd been working hard, he gets injured at the first little bit of the season. But the bit about keeping his nose clean, Fudge made the point, has he not been banned from driving?
He might have done, actually, yeah.
So if he's kept his nose clean and all that's happened to him is that he's been banned from driving, well, I suppose we can be thankful for it. God bless the little chap. Let's just hope he keeps the other side of his nose clean as well. But again, I don't know if it's through the injury. He didn't look terribly sharp to me, PJ. I don't know if you saw the same sort.
Yeah, but he didn't get any service either, so, I mean, I don't think he can make a lot of what he played the other day. I think hopefully it'll just be a bit of a knock, maybe a couple of weeks, maybe a week out, getting back to full fitness, and then we'll hopefully do well for the rest of the season. I just think that Chris O'Grady should start Saturday, give him a chance now after scoring those 2 goals.
Absolutely, this is one of the things I do want to bring up. I mean, the first goal, I mean, the strength of the chap to hold them off. We can't. It's one thing we've always seen from Mr. O'Grady is that power, that strength, that rock. If you smell and all that kind of thing. But Beastie, what do you think? Do you think he's proven to Dave Jones that he wants that place? Do you think he's ready for it?
Well, I hope he has. Yeah. I'm a big fan of Chris O'Grady.
As am I.
He never whinges. He just gets on with doing what he does. He's a strong lad. He's just muscle from his fringe to his toes, isn't he?
And he's got a very big fringe.
Yeah, well, yeah, he's got a very high forehead. His fringe starts at the back of his neck, doesn't it? But you know what you're getting with him. There's no frills with him, but he was a big reason we won that game. Not just because he scored 2 goals, but his strength in holding the ball up. And in the first half, we couldn't keep hold of that ball at all, and it were coming back so often. Once he were on, that stopped.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, PJ, again back to O'Grady, 2 goals. Again, you want to see him start Saturday. He looks like he's fighting for it, absolutely. I wouldn't call the second goal a simple goal, nice little effort. Again, to me, the keeper was out of position, but still, he was leaning on the chap, got him out of the way, knocked the ball in. Happy with that.
Yeah. It was a great turn, wasn't it? It was a great swivel and turn. And, yeah, like I said, the keeper was nowhere landing. But other than that, it's all credit to Chris O'Grady. He had a great game. And I think ever since Tudgay left, that kind of hold-up player we've really missed. Just one that can just bring the players into the game a bit more. And he did that perfectly last night.
Absolutely. Could not agree more. And then, so by this time, chaps, of course, Wednesday fans are time to sing, Beastie.
Yeah, they really got behind the team then. Like I said, once we scored that goal, it really ignited the fans and it ignited the season. It were like chalk and cheese. As bad as the team were in the first half, we were that good in the second half, and it was the same with the fans. As bad as they were in the first half, they were fantastic in the second half. It wasn't a sellout by any means, but they certainly made a lot of noise.
Absolutely did. PJ, I'm assuming that you watched it on television like I did. I mean, did you hear an Oldham song all night?
You know, it was absolutely brilliant. We were listening, we were watching on this dodgy internet stream at first.
I don't know what you mean. That would be highly illegal and not something I condone at all.
We were trying to get this Canadian TV channel up, but it was taking a while to kind of download the program that this Canadian TV channel will work on. So we were watching on this crappy kind of mono sound for the first half. And then we just managed to flick over to the Canadian channel just as we equalised the second goal. And it came on in stereo over the speakers. You could hear all the Wednesday fans just going, Wednesday! It was the hairs in the back of my neck stuck up. It was brilliant.
Absolutely spot on. I mean, for the rest of that's when it reignited. It seemed that the spirit of last season, the end of the season, popped back up again. The Wednesday fans were singing all the way through. It was wonderful, absolutely wonderful. And then Beastie, I'll give you the honour, young man. You were there. Antonio's goal. Away you go.
Well, it was the same again. Once we got in front, there was a lift amongst all the players, and as much as I love Antonio, he was as invisible as everybody else in that first half. But all of a sudden, he had an injection of pace, and it was the old Antonio that we knew and loved. And he was running everywhere, and he was beating everybody. And at one point, he gave somebody a country mile of a start, and just went past him like he were on a rocket-powered bike. Just left him standing. And well, he sent us all into raptures, and the noise when he put that in, and we were singing his name, and he absolutely loved it.
Johnny Goodwell's career is not, I mean, that's all we've talked about all pre-season. Wednesday coming. Of course, he had that game against us and over there in Portugal with Reading. I mean, again, PJ, the actual finish to hit the ball that sweetly, that beautiful little spin on the ball at that speed when you're running at that speed, it's not normal. It's beautiful. Absolutely. What did you think of the finish? To me, top class.
It was great because the camera was just behind him, wasn't it? So you could see it bend all the way into that bottom corner. And it just looked like, well, it was perfection.
Absolutely. So, Beastie, game finishes. And Wednesday fans all happy. Was there a different atmosphere coming away?
Yeah, much better atmosphere coming away. All of a sudden, there was a bit of a buzz about everybody. As soon as the whistle went, you could feel it. There obviously a little bit of relief in there that we passed this tricky test, and it was a tricky test. And let's take nothing away from Oldham. They put in a good performance there, but in the end, our class told, and eventually we did turn that class on. And all through that second half, we passed that ball about really, really well, and it was lovely to watch. And the fans at the end really appreciated that, and they showed their appreciation, and all the players came over and applauded back, which were really nice to see. Kirkland made a big point of walking all the way over and applauding, and all the way out back to the cars. There were a nice buzz, which were good to see, and it augurs well for Saturday against Derby.
Absolutely, yeah. And again, I apologise, chaps. Kirtland, we touched on it earlier. PJ touched on it earlier. Those two great saves he made. Again, the second one of those saves to me was genius, absolute genius. That save alone justified the £6 million that Liverpool would have paid for him. Absolutely fantastic. The first save, fair enough, very good save, both hands behind the ball. Could have kept hold of it for me a little bit better, but again, it was coming at pace. But that second save, I don't even know how he saved it. He sort of just bounced off him and away. Unbelievable. Doesn't seem shy of telling his defenders what he thinks of him either. Beastie, again, could you hear him?
Yeah. It did take a while to warm to the task, I think. But he did grow in stature throughout the game, and obviously those saves are going to have done him the world of good.
Absolutely.
Now he's going to be brimming with confidence. And during that first half, there were a few unfair comments from Wednesday fans who were, when he got the ball, they wanted him to release it quickly. But if you looked around, there was nowhere to release it to because we weren't providing him with an outlet. Now, if he releases that ball too soon and the intended target don't get it, then that makes him look even worse. And I'm sure those Wednesday fans would turn on a sixpence and be on his back. He knows what he's doing. If he sees an opportunity, and he is looking for it, he's looking all the time to release that ball quickly.
Absolutely.
And if the opportunity arises and the wingers or the midfield come forward and show themselves that they want that ball, he will release it quickly and will benefit from that. Because it obviously is part of Dave Jones' strategy to do that at every opportunity. Let's just we need to be a little bit patient, Wednesday fans, I think, because we've had such a good season last season that we're up in the stakes a little bit, and we seem to be demanding right from the first step, and it's not going to be plain sailing this season. So let's just give them time to bed in, and I'm sure that they will deliver the goods.
I do hope you're right there, Beastie. I really, really do. And again, I must admit that I'm one of those who's been swept along with the wave. And I was honestly that first half I was devastated, absolutely devastated. Anyway, we'll look forward. And on we shall go, and we'll get that preview of the derby match.
All right, lads. Yeah, I'm back again. Chris Lyons out for 3 months. I don't know about that.
So then, chaps, on we look. First league game of the season, Derby. Again, I'm going to confess it early. I don't know a great deal about a lot of the teams in the Championship. It's not something I kept an eye on last season. I'm not sure if you chaps are exactly the same. But this season shall definitely be on a learning curve for me. I will keep an eye out. I've tried to do a little bit of research. I've not seen a great deal. But to me, I think we're going to be focusing on our first team. Obviously, the team we put out against Oldham, it looked a strong team. It did look a strong team. But what do you think, BC? Was it a cup team? Is there any changes you're going to see there for the actual league games?
I'm pretty sure Dave Jones is going to go with with the strongest side. He's not going to be messing about too much, and I would imagine it's going to be the side that we're going to be playing for the next, certainly for the next 3 or 4 games. They used to have a decent player called Maguire, didn't they? They sold him to some chumps. Some mugs bought him. He's the only player I know that played for Derby. I honestly think. I honestly think.
On the website now, in the bottom right hand side, they've got this players little carousel thing. They've got 5 players.
Oh, easy.
Well, that's one of them.
5 side.
Well, the same players going round and round in this carousel.
Well, I honestly think that even though Chris O'Grady put in a cracking performance against Oldham, I still think it'll be Medina Maguire playing on Saturday. I'm absolutely convinced it is. I think that starting lineup that you saw against Oldham will be the starting lineup against Derby.
Again, I wouldn't be surprised. I think this would be a very, very good game for Maguire. Again, he looked a little bit lacklustre to me against Oldham. But if he's going to come good against any game, he's going to want this one. Like I said earlier, he does seem to have had fractions with the Derby club. I do believe at some point he was made to train with the academy team. He was put on the transfer list from Derby. Again, that was by mutual agreement, I do believe. But Wednesday did put 2 bids in for him before we had the one accepted, I believe. There was 2 rejected bids in there, but still, I think he's going to have a point to prove, and I think he's going to play his little Scottish socks off to prove that point and throw it back in the faces. Again, PJ, rather than with Maguire there, of course we're still yet to see Armando over here. Do you think there'll be a chance that he's going to start, or is it, again, like we say, a bit of a prospect? He's only 22 years old. Do you think we'll see him out there?
I don't think we'll see him in the first 11 anyway, at least. I think he'll be on the bench yesterday, if that was the case, at least. But that centre midfield spot does concern me quite a bit. Without Lyons there, we looked a little bit open quite a lot of times last night. So I'm kind of hoping that Pechnik gets put up into a bit more support man role maybe, or out wide a bit further. But we need someone in the centre midfield to help Samido battle. Otherwise, we're going to really struggle.
Yeah, again, of course, Chris Lyons out for the time being. It is worrying, Beastie. If you look back to last season when we had that little iffy patch, we'll put it that way, again, that was a time where Lyons wasn't in the team. To me, he's always been an integral part. Again, he's not always a flash player. He sits in there and gets the job done. What is it? Is it around about 6 or 8 weeks he's out for? Or am I being a bit overzealous there? But even still, we're going to miss him, Beast.
Well, from my understanding, it's going to be around about 12 weeks, which you're right, he is going to be a big miss for us. He grew in confidence throughout last season, and he was at his best when Dave Jones came. And Dave Jones really did change his game around. And by the end of the season, he was absolutely full of confidence. And it's going to be a big blow to Lyons himself. But them's the breaks. We've got to manage without him. We've got enough talent in that midfield to manage without him. So we've got to get on with it. And I think Giles Coco will fit in there.
Well, let's hope so. Like I say, I've not always been the biggest fan. I do hope that he proves me wrong. And I promise that I shall never rip him on Twitter again. All right. And again, PJ, going back to the back four, do you think we'll see the same sort of lineup? Again, the Buxton, he had a bit of an iffer. In my opinion, the second goal he could have done ever so slightly better on that one. Again, I've no qualms with the chap. Wonderful work. Definitely last season, one of my players of the season. But do you think we'll see the same back four out there, or do you think Beavers will be knocking about the place, or what do you think?
I think it'll be the same back four. I mean, they've got time to gel. They won't be perfect from the first game as we saw last night. And if it doesn't work, then he has to change it. He's got some options at the back four, so that's what's good about it. They've got more options in defence than we have in midfield, so I think that's still the priority place for me to strengthen.
Yeah, he does seem a fan of the fullback, does Mr. Dave Jones. Fair play to the chap, fair play to him. So, Beastie, it's going to be a hard match. It's going to be a battle, I think. It's going to be a gritty one. We've proved that we can do that at Oldham. I do hope that's given the chap some confidence to crack away with that. But, Beastie, no sitting on the fence, be brave, be bold, give me a score.
3-1 to Derby.
Ooh!
I'm saying that, right, the reason I'm saying that is because when I love Derby away, it's always a fantastic away day. I won't be driving, so there may be a little snifter or two.
Maybe.
Yeah. It's going to be a long day. It may be after midnight when we get back. And we always get turned over at Derby, right? But we always have a great day. And the opening day of the season, regardless of the score, is always a good day. Right? It sets you up for the rest of the season. Everybody will be excited on Saturday morning. Right? I know we've played Oldham, but this is it. This is the real deal. It all starts here. My heart obviously wants Wednesday to win, but my head says once again, Derby will turn us over.
Fair play, old boy. Again, it does seem that season the sentimental Wednesday fans are going to. It's going to be a difficult season. There's no two ways about it. And again, Beastie, fair play, old boy. If we're going to crack this league eventually, it is something we're going to have to get used to, using his head rather than the old blue and white blood pumping through. PJ, are you in agreement? Do you think we're going to have a bit of a championship lesson, the championship new boys?
I think we might get something out of it. I mean, when I first started thinking about it, I thought we were going to win easily. But after last night, I'm thinking probably not so easily. So I reckon it's going to be 2-2. High scoring. But I fancy us to get a couple of goals.
Right, I do hope you're right, old boy, I do hope you're right. Personally, I think it's going to be a bit of a chess match. Derby and Wednesday are going to be out there trying new little bits and bobs. Of course, the teams are going to... nobody's going to want to lose, we'll put it that way. I think it's going to be a bit of a defensive on both sides. Of course, Derby are going to have that home advantage, first day of the season, crowd behind them. But let's face it, Wednesday end's going to be full. As we've seen wherever we've been, the Wednesday fans never let us down. There's always a roar, there's always a cheer. So again, but I do think it's going to be a bit of a touchy-feely one. So I'm going to go for 0-0. I'm going to go for a 0-0 draw. But we shall see, chaps. We shall see. I do hope that I am proved wrong. So, anybody else anything else to say about the match on Saturday against Derby?
Just that the noise level is going to be absolutely incredible. There's nearly 6,000 Wednesday fans making this trip. Right, everybody is still carrying on that good vibe from last season, and everybody is hoping that Dave Jones remains unbeaten. I hope he remains unbeaten. I hope my prediction is totally wrong. But whatever happens, I think the Wednesday fans need to see the bigger picture. Let's not get carried away. Let's not go overboard if we do lose, and let's not go overboard if we win. Let's just build into the season and enjoy it because we're back in Championship.
Wise words from Beastie, old boy. Wise words, old boy. Right then, chaps. So, we've been going for quite a while now. Again, we have been missing a few bits and bobs here and there. The other chaps are devastated that they can't be there. I can't tell you that, old boy. I'd like to pass on my thanks to PJ over there, Mr. Patrick Jones from the New York Owls. Thanks for joining us, PJ.
You're welcome. It's been a pleasure.
Oh, it's been a pleasure having you, old boy. We will do a little bit more around the New York Owls as well. I must admit that I do have a public apology to make to the Sydney Owls over there in Sydney. Mr. Beastie did a beautiful interview with him. It is absolutely, utterly, completely 100% down to me that you haven't heard that yet. Jeeves did edit it. He made it all beautiful. He got rid of the vast majority of Beastie's foul language. But and he did send it off, or he did think he had sent it off, but it got stuck in the outbox, and he never bloody checked it to make sure it had gone. But it is there, so this week, chaps, we will release 2 Wednesday weeks this week, and the second release will be that interview with Beastie and the Sydney Owls over there. It is a cracking listen. Please do listen. And Stu and all the rest of the Sydney Owls out there. It's absolutely fantastic. Again, we will be getting you on again. Again, ladies and gents, I would like to apologise that we haven't seen much of us over the pre-season. It's been a rather difficult one. We've got a lot of season to go at now, so we'll have plenty of new people on, like the Sydney Owls, like PJ over there at the New York Owls. Of course, all your old favourites will be here as well. We're going to be looking for bloggers. We've made a few contacts as well over Twitter and things like that. If you've got anything to send us, please do get in contact with the show. We're going to try and get this inclusive of everybody. Beastie over there, Owls Alive, we've got Wednesday night on board. We want every section. New York Owls are away with us now. Sydney Owls are there. We want every section of the Wednesday chap to get involved with this. This is not our podcast. It's your podcast, and we need to hear from you to make it work. We're all Wednesday, and we all want to hear about it on your ear. So, PJ, where can people get hold of you?
You can get hold of us on Twitter at New York Owls, or my personal account at Paddy A. Jones. We're also on Facebook under NYSWFC.
Fantastic. Do jump over there. There's some cracking New York pictures as well that popped up on there. And the New York Owls up there, boy. How many chaps and chapettes have you got so far watching the games with you?
We've just broke about 21, 22. We get one like every other week at the moment. One mails us saying a new person to the city, so we're going
fantastic.
By the week.
Wonderful, that's marvellous. And of course you do get together to watch the game, so if there are any other New York Owls out there listening to us, please do get in contact. I do believe you also had a few holiday makers, is that right?
Yeah, they just randomly turn up in the bar. It's brilliant. Just like watching the match, and some 5 blokes walk. They were on holiday with the family and stuff, and start watching the game with us. It's fantastic.
Absolutely marvellous. So if you are out there in the summer, please do get in touch with PJ. I'm sure he'd be more than happy to accommodate. Beastie, of course. Where are we getting hold of you this season, Beastie?
Well, you can get hold of me on Twitter at Beastie_ or at Owls Alive. Owls Alive's also on Facebook. Talk to anybody on there, or on the Owls Alive message board, or on the website, which is just undergoing a little bit of a facelift at the moment.
All right, chat. I know we do Beastie just talk about Owls Alive here. If you haven't been to that website, please do go. There's some wonderful things on there. It's absolutely marvellous. Of course, there's lots of blogs on there. How many chaps have you got working on that website over there? There's quite a few of you in the Beastie.
About half of them, I think.
Am I right saying is it 5 or 6 chaps you've got over there?
Yeah, if anybody ever feels the urge to write a piece, we're more than willing to put it up on Owls Alive. If anybody fancies doing a match report, having a go at it, we're more than willing to give them a go.
That's fantastic. That's absolutely wonderful. Like I said, we're all Wednesday. We all want to get involved, and we're having. There's no kind of pressure or anything like that. Do get in touch, and we will sort you out. Of course, you can get over to me at Lord H. That's L0, the number 0, RD_H over there on Twitter. Give me a tweet. I generally try to reply back to absolutely everybody, and I also generally try to rip as many other football fans as I possibly can. So please do give us a follow and join in the fun. And of course, if you do want to contact the Wednesday Week, you can get hold of the Wednesday Week on Twitter at TWWcast. That's over there on Twitter. You can email us at twwpodcast@gmail.com. If you have a story or anything that you'd like to throw into the show, please do email us over there. And of course, we are on Facebook. If you do a little search over there for the Wednesday Week on Facebook, again, we must get on top of that. I do apologise. That's slipped ever so slightly, but we will get on top of that and add us as a friend, and join in the fun. Of course, we are missing Fudge from Fudge and Dave. Again, we'll keep an eye on him over there. And of course, Eddie over there at Wednesday Night. If you're not a member of Wednesday Night, ladies and gents, please do go over to the Wednesday Night website, wednesdaynight.com. Have a little nose about there. There's lots of blogs on there. I've wrote a few blogs over there, little bits and bobs like that. There's a few more new bloggers this season as well. Again, please don't think that I'm affiliated with Wednesday Night in any sort of way. I'm a big supporter of the work, just like I'm a big supporter of Owls Alive and everybody else. So if there's anything I can do for your group, your tribe, your anything at all, please do get in touch, and I will be more than happy to help as best as I possibly can. So, PJ, again, thank you ever so much for joining us, old boy. We shall see you very soon. Beastie, give us a good goodbye.
Goodbye!
Beautifully done, old boy. Beautifully done. So, ladies and gents, that's it from the Wednesday Week for this week. And, of course, we shall see you very soon.
All right, lads. It's me again. I ain't really got much to say anymore. But, all right, hang on. I thought of something. It's Fudge again, by the way. No, it's gone again.
There's a chance here.